Hello, my YouTube family. This is your wake-up call. 5G and ADS. Let's be honest. Anyone who knows me knew I was going to get to this, and you knew it had to be a wake-up call video. This touches on the cell phone networks. My formal training is in IT, so this is a subject that I love and cherish. My first computer was a 386 IBM with a whopping big 12-inch monitor with green letters. Then I got a Nintendo Entertainment System from my uncle in 1985, and pretty much every single Nintendo home game system since then. Except for the Wii U. I don't like that one. My first cell phone was Motorola's brick and flip phone in 1994. In 2000, I got a Motorola Timeport P935 two-way pager on the MetroCall network. Between 2001 and 2007, I had a variety of Nokia, Sony Ericsson, and 4 different T-Mobile sidekicks. In 2008, I bought the T-Mobile G1, and I've only owned HTC smartphones ever since. I've also had computers running various Windows operating systems between Windows 95 and Windows 10, and I've got one laptop running Ubuntu Desktop. Now, just a little history. 1G was introduced in the late 1970s. The first cellular systems were analog voice. 2G and 2.5G was the second generation and refers to the digital voice systems of the 1990s, replacing analog phones and based on the TDMA and CDMA air interfaces. It was first deployed in Europe, and GSM became the predominant TDMA system worldwide. 3G was launched after the turn of the century. The third generation features faster internet access with faster downstream speeds. 4G, HSPA+, was introduced in late 2010. The ITU officially designated HSPA+ as a 4G technology, having previously defined it as 3G. 4G WiMAX was introduced by Sprint. They were the first carrier to offer the 4G network in the US using WiMAX technology. 4G LTE. Starting in the 2011 timeframe, GSM and CDMA carriers embraced LTE, which offers higher speeds than 3G. 4G LTE integrates all communications, data, voice, and video using the IP protocol. 5G. The latest cellular generation began in 2018 and will take several years for nationwide adoption. 5G increases speed, but at the cost of deploying many more cell towers. Now, let's talk about some of the 5G rumors. Many say that 5G uses a very similar frequency to that of a military crowd dispersal system. These are crowd dispersal guns called active denial systems, or ADS. From the Department of Defense website, the active denial system is needed because it's the first non-lethal directed energy counter-personnel system with an extended range greater than currently fielded non-lethal weapons. It uses radio frequency millimeter waves in the 96 gigahertz range to penetrate the top 1/64th of an inch layer of skin on the targeted individual, instantly producing an intolerable heating sensation that causes them to flee. Imagine if the power was turned up. The Department of Defense said, if you're unlucky enough to be standing there when it hits you, you will feel like your body is on fire. Many of the new smartphones on the market are 5G ready now and will only require a software update to start transmitting in 5G frequencies. 5G networks have divided network services into 3 categories: enhanced mobile broadband, or EMBB, or handsets, ultra-reliable low-latency communications, or URLLC, which includes industrial applications and autonomous vehicles, and massive machine-type communications, or MMTC, or sensors. Initially, 5G deployments will focus on EMBB and fixed wireless, which makes use of many of the same capabilities as EMBB. 5G will use spectrum in the existing LTE frequency range, 600 MHz to 6 GHz, and also in millimeter wave bands 24 GHz to 86 GHz. You can see by this chart that the proposed wavelength extends to the 95 GHz range, but was speculated back in 2015 to go as high as 100 GHz. Remember, the ADS weapon uses waves in the 96 GHz range. When considering the wavelengths we are discussing, only a difference of 1 GHz separates the weapon from 5G service. That could be something that's innocent, or it could be cause for alarm. We're probably never going to find out the truth. A lot of people have posted warnings about the mass deployment of commercial millimeter wave technology. Now, take into consideration this man in Europe who claims 5G is killing his tree.
Right, here we go. Here we go. Right, so we have a tree here. Not a very good looking tree. All the bark's falling off. All on the left hand side. Look on the left hand side of that tree. Look on the right hand side. That's alright. Yeah. Right, well look at the right hand side of the tree. Look at the flower. Look at the bushes. Look at the green bushes. Yeah. Very nice. Look at the left hand side. Dead. Do you know why? Because that's right next to it. Look at this. Have you seen anything like that in your life? It's got a light right there. The transmitter on the top. Now how is that? Explain that. The right hand side of the tree that's not next to the transmitter, the growing away from it, is okay. I mean look at this, look how shocking. Look at all the bark falling off. All dead, totally dead. Far too close to them lights. Look at the bark. All on the left hand side, look. Look how close it is to the light. These 5G transmitters are lethal. If that's what it's doing to a tree, right next to a tree, think about what these are doing to our health. Just think about that for a minute.
Online, there are huge amounts of information for and against 5G. We'll most likely never know what the truth is about it, but some are convinced and want to stay away from it.
I'm Dr. Deborah Davis, and I'm here to talk with you today about the 5G that Environmental Health Trust is quite concerned about. This is a network that's being rolled out all over the country that will involve thousands of antennas. I love my devices as much as anyone else, but I don't want to put the health of my grandchildren at risk. I don't want to put them in harm's way. And we now know that the skin, our largest organ, does respond to 5G. And in fact, we have in our sweat ducts, they can act as antennas that can receive signals. Now, this has not been tested for safety. The fact that it can interact with our sweat ducts may have much more profound meanings for our overall health and well-being. The idea that we're going to saturate this country with a network that has never been tested is appalling. And I am joining with many other scientists from around the world now to express concerns and to say we must evaluate these things before we roll out the technology, no matter how attractive it is for us to have faster downloads of video games, pornography, or virtual reality. The question we have to ask ourselves, is it worth endangering the health of our children to do that? For more information about this and other environmental health issues, please look at our website, ehtrust.org. Thank you.
Jack Tibbetts, a member of the Santa Rosa, California City Council, started getting calls from residents about cellular antennas going up next to their homes, causing concerns over property values and health. Cities and towns throughout Northern California are issuing ordinances that would exclude new 5G cell sites from residential areas, citing supposed health concerns. There is so much back and forth between sides that it gets exhausting. The bottom line is this: there is money to be made, and if you follow the money, you will find the corruption. I don't know if 5G is harmful right now because, as I've shown you, it depends on which frequencies are used. However, I believe that it will be harmful and can easily be used as a weapon, again, depending on the frequency. In the International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation Guidelines, it states, at frequencies from 10 megahertz to 300 gigahertz, heating is the major effect of absorption of electromagnetic energy, and temperature rises of more than 1 to 2 degrees centigrade, that's 34 to 36 degrees Fahrenheit, can have adverse health effects such as heat exhaustion and heat stroke. So much information. One site says the 5G bandwidth goes up to 100 gigahertz, another says 71 gigahertz, and yet another states only 26 gigahertz. This chart shows the US supposedly is only going to use from 600 megahertz to 71 gigahertz. Let me end it by saying this. As long as the least harmful frequencies are used, we should not be any more poisoned than we normally are. Studies have stated that cell phones cause brain cancer, but then other studies show that the amount of brain cancer has not increased since the 70s. Charts can be manipulated, so you really don't know. They say we need to have 5G for the Internet of Things. Is this really for convenience or just other ways your network can be hacked? All these devices are not as secure as, say, your router or a firewall. Some of them are pretty much easy to break into. Take a look at these videos shot by the CBC in Canada.
A family who lives here is being watched by the whole world, and they don't know it. I don't know if you realize this, but those cameras are actually broadcasting on the internet.
Really?
Yeah.
How
So
would you know?
that's what brought us here, actually. We want to show you what we found.
Really?
Yeah, we can show you what's happening right now.
Wow. Okay.
See that right there?
And you could just get that.
That's right, yeah. This is what's going on right now. What do you think about that?
No, I don't like that at all.
Many people don't know how to secure their smart devices, allowing hackers and pranksters to invade their homes and their privacy.
What was that?
This woman is terrified by the 21st century version of a crank call. This van is carrying 3 white hat hackers.
Nice.
They crack the password to the home's Wi-Fi network
Free Wi-Fi, everyone, now.
and then discover it's the same password used by Peter to control the thermostat.
All right, connected.
But to get full control, they decide they need Joanna's password too. Back at headquarters, they create a phishing email. It's a fake, designed to trick Joanna into revealing her password.
Oh, she has opened it.
Oh, message has been opened.
If she clicks on the link they sent, they'll be able to control just about every smart device in her house. The waiting game doesn't last long.
Oh, here we go. We got credentials.
All right, let's test them.
Awesome.
And as our hackers show some real damage they can do when they target this personal assistant.
Alexa, order 4K TV.
I've added Samsung 4K TV to your shopping list.
What's that?
That's our front door lock.
That's our front door lock. Yep.
So I'd say that one's the more troubling of any of them.
And unlocking.
The US mainstream news doesn't report things like this, so we're kept in the dark about it. They say 5G will play a large role in autonomous vehicles. And also keep this in mind. While the new 5G cellular network technology is still being tested, researchers are already working on technologies for the next generation of wireless data transmission. 6G is to reach far higher transmission rates, shorter delays, and increased device density, with artificial intelligence being integrated. Dr. Eric Van Rongen, chairman of the International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection, said the level of radio frequency exposure of 5G networks will be about the same as current 3G and 4G networks. So, like I said, the usual amount of poisoning. This is a ball of confusion with one thing leading right back to the other and vice versa. I believe this is a dangerous technology, personally. Take it from Mark Steele, who won his 5G civil case in the UK criminal court. Mark Steele is an inventor of heads-up display and battlefield interrogation weapons mitigation.
This equipment is illegal and unlawful. It doesn't pass any regulatory standards. Only today there's 3 senators who've written to the FCC to ask them about the safety, because the FCC have said they have seen some safety data on 5G, and they're just, they haven't seen any. The reason why 5G hasn't been put up any safety tests, it will fail. 5G is a weapon system. It's there to kill and harm and maim. It is not there for telecommunications. It's for telecommunications to an autonomous vehicle, but you get in between that signal, believers, and you would be in serious trouble. In fact, brain injury would be the least of your concerns. So consequently, it's got no regulatory framework, no safety standards applied, and the reason for that, it would fail, all of them. You'd have to change the whole safety standard system around 180 degrees for it to even think about passing. It won't pass. Antenna systems, microwave radiation transmitters, even though they're uninsurable, they still fit within a number of regulatory guidelines and safety standards. An FCC Part 15 standard, this is the antenna, which an unlicensed antenna fits within that framework. At 30 meters, that antenna should emit no more than 5 milliwatts. Now, the transmitters we have at 30 and 50 meters, we're seeing 700 and 1,000 milliwatts. So it fails the Part 15 FCC standard for harm to humans. And this is, so that, these are these 5G, these are the high gain direct lens antennas. So they fail the current FCC standards. They'll never pass them. And they're not even fully operational failure. So we're having to test it in a real field experiment, and this has been exposed on children, women, and men in my near locality. We've got children bleeding from the nose, we've got women bleeding from the nose, we've got women losing babies, we've got this is just absolutely unbelievable. And not only that, it is in breach of the Nuremberg Code. The Nuremberg Code is pretty simple. Any technology that harms animals in any laboratory studies cannot be experimented or tested on people.
We'll all have to keep an eye open and read. Research everything about 5G. I was once told that 5G deployment was going to be stopped and we have nothing to worry about. I don't believe they care. This has been your wake-up call. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Click the notification bell so you will be notified when we upload new videos. Find The Awakening Frequency on Twitter and Instagram and also Facebook. We are The Awakening Frequency. Out of the millions of potential subscribers, we just want to reach one so each one can teach one. Peace.